All right, let me tell you how screwed we are right now. We're in a time in human history where we have a multiple converging factors that are all going to lead to hardship and worse off lives right now. So here's number one. You may be paying attention to the most obvious thing, which is that in the Middle East, they are sending tons of people from the military over there to surround the Strait of Hormuz, to blockade the blockade, to try to get rid of Iran so that there can be complete control of a place to send goods, to be able to transport things, so that the United States, the Western allies, can be in charge of dominating trade. And on top of that, you also have, you know, Iran, supposedly, who does not have any more WMDs, but still somehow does have WMDs, are going to use those to destroy their neighboring countries as a form of last self defense, right? That could lead to World War III, which then could lead to a nuclear arms conflict, which then could end up in total apocalyptic destruction of the planet. That's number one. Number two is you have a second potential thing that could happen is that you could end up having the rise of AI and robotics that become a Skynet that literally destroys all of humanity in some type of accident. This is something that almost all of the top scientists and billionaires, people who have nothing better to do but ruin the world for us in many ways, not all of them are bad though. Like, let's say, for example, one, what they are saying is that Elon Musk, that AI has a, I don't know, 30-40% chance of killing all humans. Sam Altman says the same thing. And many other of the top billionaires that by some happy accident, all of the AI is going to, in either a very overt way or subtly nefarious way, end up destroying us. Either whether through making us obsolete and irrelevant, where they take all of our jobs and then we're just a bunch of useless eaters and we end up who knows what, sitting around collecting social credit money or UBI and becoming like people in the movie Idiocracy, where we just eat cheese out of a bucket all day and watch a bunch of stupid TikTok reels. And then we end up no longer continuing to mate. That's one potential. Or the second is that they send out a bunch of drones that can literally assassinate us with absolutely no resistance. I mean, these little quadricopters that are the size of sometimes a bee can be strapped with an explosive and take out people very quickly. You also have, there's another scenario where you have places like the Western world have been infiltrated by millions and millions and millions of illegal immigrants. And these illegal immigrants that are everywhere are infested with sleeper cell agents that are a part of other militaries. Let's say in the United States, here is one place. Also, a lot of Europe is like this. There's other countries, the colonies. You have Australia, New Zealand, and even now Japan is getting a lot of illegal immigrants or refugees, if you want to call them that. All these people are just floating around, and I guarantee they have sleeper cells within this. Out of 10, the conservative number in the United States is something like 30 million. I mean, that's the government numbers, right? 1% out of 30 million is tens of thousands of soldiers. And it doesn't even take that much to be able to take down the infrastructure within a country. I mean, just a couple thousand people could go around and knock out a bunch of substations, and then all of the service workers who'd have to repair them would become so overwhelmed they never even have the ability to get to repairing them all in time so that they could keep the infrastructure running and continue running gas stations so that the service workers themselves would be able to actually go out and repair all of the different things and or be able to get the parts needed to be able to get the electricity back on. Within about 2 weeks of electricity being down, you're going to end up with people not having food because all the grocery stores are, one, going to not be able to keep the freezers on inside to keep the food cool. And also you have, well, the gas station pumps won't work. Everything will come to a standstill. All the highways will get literally stopped with cars. That's another possibility. And then we have a fourth potential thing that could happen. We have that right now. The birth rates are declining substantially. We are under the replacement rate. 2.2% is the last I checked. And if we don't continue, we're going to, in a little more gradual way, lose our ability to maintain the infrastructure that we do have. Bridges collapse, roads don't get replaced, homes aren't repaired, people can't fix things. And that will end up with some type of stagnant society where we all become consolidated into mega cities and we end up in like some type of movie like Judge Dredd, where everyone is in one giant city and everything is run horribly. Chances of survival are awful. Those are just a couple. Another is the ones that they talk about a lot less, is that our soil is being eroded across our country and many others. You right now do not have enough nutrients in the soil to be able to continue crops. They say it's like 15 years from now, a lot of farms will be completely unplantable because plants won't even grow them due to the lack of just fertilizers and minerals. And it's not going to get any easier to be able to supply those things to the crops because you have things like the Ukraine war, where 35%, I believe, of all the urea that was produced worldwide, which is a major fertilizer, was cut off due to the invasion of Russia. I could go on and on and on and on about all these negatives. And I could talk about how there's going to be something. And you know what you can relate this all to? There's a couple things. We are at the turn of an age. We're going from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius. That's one set thing that's happening right now. Also, we are at an inflection point in human consciousness. This is a moment where we, as humans, are about to confront the big questions. We have all of reality before us that we can start to dominate and conquer. We are about to enter the space age. This is like the movie Space Odyssey, where you are going to have the ability to have unlimited, untapped resources. We will be able to potentially use AI to solve all of our medical problems, diagnose everyone with every disease they have within a matter of seconds. And AI will actually be able to map out the human genome and run proper tests on humans to figure out what is wrong with them and diagnose their diseases in just a couple of minutes and be able to cure most things. Our lifespan could extend on, and we could, who knows, live on for 1,000 years maybe as an individual in this body. That is why this is all converging at once, because we are at a precipice. We are at a moment of extreme change, and it is the test that is accumulating all in one moment to see if we will either rise up above it or if we will fall below the mark and be considered unworthy. They say that there is a test in the universe. You have the Fermi's paradox. It is this thing that a mathematician, an Italian guy, came up with, said that the universe is so large, so big, that not only is it likely there are other species in the universe, but it is a guarantee, in the paradox in and of itself, is that we have not met other species yet, because there should be so many of them floating around that statistically it's impossible that we haven't, which some people say we have. That's another point. There is so many planets in the universe. There are more planets that are in existence than the amount of seconds that have passed since the beginning of the Big Bang, right? So what I'm trying to get across here is that there are probably many, many, many other civilizations and species that have evolved, have grown, and there seems to be these hurdles. Scientists talk about these hurdles, and that you must pass them in order to be able to reach things like interstellar travel, right? We are at one of these tests where our evolution and the latency in our evolution, where we have not adapted to these new things, is coming into question. Can we or can we not overcome them is the big thing. And in this moment, it all comes down to what is internal to us. and what it is that we must confront with our spiritual development to be worthy of reaching the next levels. So which one is it that's going to happen that we are going to be tested with? Hard to say. It could be all of them, could be one of them. But at the end of the day, we have to be prepared. You cannot be scared. And you must start taking very serious in this time what it is we are here for, asking the big questions. Because in order to pass these trials that are likely to come, we will have to change how we behave, who we are, and how we identify. This is the moment we're in. This is unlike any other time in human history that's recorded. They say there is nothing new under the sun, according to Proverbs, that all is the same. I don't know that I particularly agree with that. Yes, the basic concepts remain stable. Humans are as humans do, monkey see, monkey do, right? But we have things that are new. This very phone I'm talking to you on is unlike anything that's ever existed before. We have cars, planes, trains. We have antibiotics. We have robots. These things are all new, and we have not digested them. We have not learned how to balance them with our life. Hell, even things like plastic is a huge problem. The microplastics that are everywhere act as a basic hormone that mimic estrogen and disrupt all of our daily hormone cycles. They make men more feminine and make women hyper-feminized. We have prescription drugs. They're everywhere. They're literally in the water supply because they don't get filtered out of our water when we go to drink. I'm keyed into all this stuff. I could make a 15-hour video on all these things. And one of the things I've done is, as you see here, live out in the wilderness, and I'm cultivating a piece of land that I can sustain myself on and live in a healthy way. There is many things that we have to reconsider as we go on, integrating ourselves with the technologies that have been developed and creating new social structures. One of the biggest things with this, though, however, is we need a new software operating system. That is really one of the biggest things. The old systems we ran off of, the religious structures that we had, the form of Christianity we lived by, even the Muslim religions, Islam, are not sufficient or do not work as the way that they are practiced in this moment to guide humanity, to guide the masses. There must be new ways. There must be refined operating systems. Now, you could make an argument that those systems are perfect as they are, but I can tell you this, they are definitely not interpreted in the ways that would work. So, that all being said, this is one of the primary reasons I am making these videos, and I'm trying to explain things. I'm trying to show what it is I've learned. I am trying to share perspectives that will prepare people for the future and how to navigate these things. I have prepared my whole life. I have put myself through trial, tribulation, and I have overcome. I am here to continue doing so, to do better at it, and to help others do it. Because if this is something I do all alone, is it even worthwhile? And I think that I have been prepared. I have been prepared to show others a way. So if you guys agree, disagree, please let me know. I want to hear from you. Justin, you are spot on. Justin, you are completely off the mark. You're over worrying. You're being crazy. And all these things you are thinking about are not a big deal. You're over sensationalizing it. You're watching too much media. You are listening to too much of the mainstream, and they're getting under your skin. I stopped watching the mainstream a long time ago because it makes you crazy. But here's the thing. This is what I believe. When the need arises in human past, in history, the way will be shown. Now, will we take it? That's the question. What will we do? I do think that there is something special about humanity, even if we're only one of many, many species, and that we are here for a larger purpose towards truth. And we will see what happens. But until then, let's just watch how this all unfolds and let's do what we can. That's what we've always done. And we are here to play out everything. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.